Carbon footprint is an essential thing to be aware of as individuals. Many scientists have predicted that if we continue to make no efforts to mitigate our carbon footprint, extreme environmental changes can become irreversible, permanently affecting the ways that individuals can live on Earth. That is why the United Nations, through its 2018 report, has set 2030 as the climate change deadline for gas emissions to be halved so that global warming's effects can be minimized. But to understand how we can contribute to this goal, we must first understand what carbon footprint is and its contribution to global warming.
Carbon footprint is the total amount of carbon emission which include greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and CFCs, generated over a set period of time by an individual action, specifically the action related to consumption. So, whenever an individual drives a car, he's their home or buys food and other goods, a certain amount of gas is produced as a result of their action.
Carbon emissions are produced in many ways, either natural or man-made. Naturally, these gases are produced by decomposition, respiration, and ocean release, and gases produced here are not really the ones that we can control the amount of. Another source of carbon emissions are man-made emissions, which are made by the act of consumption, which are primary emissions, or by the companies that produce the things that we consume every day, or secondary emissions. These are the emissions that we can control of and usually contribute to the large percentage of our carbon footprint.
According to What's Your Impact.org, 87% of all human-produced carbon emission come from the burning of fossil fuels like coal, natural gas, and oil. This is because the fossil fuels are still the largest sources of energy for electricity generation associated with goods and services consumed. The remainder result are from the clearing forests and other land use change 9%, as well as some industrial processes such as cement manufacturing 4%.
The more carbon emissions produced, the bigger the negative impacts are on the environment. A big impact produced by large emissions of carbon is global warming, which can have serious side effects on the Earth, such as drought or reduced sources of clean water, melting of polar ice caps, and extreme climate change that result in natural disasters. Besides that, global warming can also impact the food chain, the spread of disease, and damage marine ecosystems.
So, now that we know what carbon footprint is and what its effects are on the environment, how can we minimize it? Well, almost all daily activities reduce a carbon footprint, but that doesn't mean we have to stop all our activities. By simply changing our lifestyle, we can minimize our carbon footprint and make an impact. Activities that can help minimize carbon footprint include consuming more local produce instead of importing, reducing the consumption of food with a high carbon footprint like meat, being economical in using energy and water, owning less and only buying things we really need, and being commuting and active by using public transportation. Lastly, the biggest thing we can do is by speaking up and inviting others to do the same carbon footprint minimizing activity.